Hey, folks, this is Book Talk with Corbin. I had to put this out here because I think it's very, very important that we start getting more and more black folk, not just to read more, but to also start changing their paradigm shift. You know, start thinking a little differently about some things here and there. And one of them is this whole anti-hate stuff. And I use the word stuff as opposed to, I use that 5-letter word as opposed to a 4-letter word. Let me just put this out there real hard and fast. Anytime you have any organization, white or black, Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, and they talk about anti-hate, you need to cautiously, very cautiously, start examining what they're really talking about, what they're really saying. I hate to break it to you, but hate, quote unquote, the feeling of hate, the belief of hate, however way you may define that, has been here within the human race from the beginning. I mean, from the beginning. It's been here. I mean, it's just been here from the beginning. And at no time in the recorded history of human beings has there ever been a successful effort to legislate away hate. At no time in recorded human history has any government successfully eliminated, and I'm putting in quotation marks, hatred. Folks, in all attempts to do that, whether the government or regime or whatever has tried to, quote, uproot and destroy hatred, it has led to massive human political rights violations, death, disease, destruction. I mean, everywhere you go. When they've tried that, they tried to institutionalize the effort to remove hate. Now, I'm not going to go into why that's been the case, but I think it's enough documentation out there to show you that it is the case. Now, at some later point, maybe when I engage in a book discussion, we can raise that and go into that a little bit more in more depth. And so people might ask me, well, man, why are you bringing it up now? I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing it up now. Because I'm still ticked off about the way those white racists tried to buck break Kyrie Irving. And they said Kyrie, first of all, they falsely accused him of something. They falsely accused him of something. They falsely accused him of anti-Semitism, falsely accused him of it. We all know that. And then they said to Kyrie, the Brooklyn Nets, the team he plays for, they said, well, Kyrie, you can't come back and play until you do X, Y, and Z. It's like 5-6 conditions. And one of the conditions was they were forcing him to make a contribution to an anti-hate group. Folks, look at the contradiction in that. I'm going to twist your arm to donate to an anti-hate group. What the heck? Think about that. I'm going to force you to contribute to an anti-hate group. That's number one. 2, well, how are you defining anti-hate? Because there are some groups out there, the alphabet mafia, they say if you claim there are only 2 genders, they claim that's hate speech. If you go over here and you say, I wouldn't mind reading this book that starts with the premise or starts with the belief that black folk are the original Hebrews. Ooh, can't do that. That's anti-Semitic. It's hate. It's hate. It's hate literature. Okay, or you may say something like, "Hey, I'm going to listen to Candace Owens. She does a podcast. I'm also going to read some Thomas Sowell. He's put out my God, Thomas Sowell's put out sorts of books. I don't even want to take a guess at the number, but I'm going to read some Thomas Sowell. Nope, can't do that. That's racist. That's anti-black people. On the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God said, "Ooh, can't, what's that boy's name? Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West. Ye, he hates black people. Why do you say that, Charlemagne? Because Ye wore a shirt, white people matter. So that's anti-black people. How are you defining anti-hate? Everybody and their mother grasps onto that concept. That's anti-hate. That's anti-me. I wouldn't even deal with anything like that. That's just a bunch of nonsense. Whenever anybody talks about anti-hate, there's a political agenda attached to it. I guarantee you that. Show me. I'll show you, and I'll show you what political agenda is attached to it. Here's the last thing I want to say about this anti-hate stuff. Now, it's going to come as a surprise to a lot of you, and particularly y'all Negroes attached to who's got your butt so far up the Democratic Party's rear end that when the Democratic Party farts, you guys get diarrhea. And yeah, I said it to you, and I'll say it to you again, out of love for our people. All right? Let me tell you something. You can hate whoever you want in the United States of America. You have your constitutional right to do that. I don't care who you hate. You can hate everybody and anybody. You can hate them all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. That is your constitutional right to do that. You can love anybody you want. You can express your love for anybody you want. Any individual, any group, any organization. You can do that all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. That's called living in a constitutional republic. Not a democracy, but a constitutional republic. You have the right to hate. That's your business. You go do what you want to do. You want to hate this group? You want to hate Jews? You want to hate blacks? You want to hate homosexuals? You want to hate the alphabet mafia? You go right ahead. You want to hate Republicans? You want to hate conservatives? You want to hate patriots? You want to hate the libtards? You want to hate the communists? You want to hate the socialists? You want to hate the libertarians? You go right ahead. That's your business. God bless you. Have a good day. Go do that. What you can't do is, based upon your interpretation of what constitutes hate or a hate group, what you can't do is violate that group's constitutional rights. Can't do that. Can't do that. But you can run around and talk about how much you hate this and hate that and hate this. That's your business. Go ahead. Go ahead with your bad self. I ain't mad at you. But you cannot violate someone's constitutional rights. And you cannot, and part of violation of constitutional rights is trying to argue that, well, we're going to restrict what this person writes and publish, or we're going to restrict what this person can say on a podcast or on a YouTube channel because we think it might lead to violence against this or that individual or group. Okay? No, sorry, honey, that's not the way it works. There's a reason why the First Amendment is the First Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. Don't work that way, honey. Okay? Okay? Don't work that way. All right? Sorry. Now, if someone is threatening you, threatening your life, or threatening the lives of your children, your family, or your friends, hey, that's a law enforcement issue. Take it up with law enforcement. Hey, man, this guy, he was on Book Talk with Corbin. He threatened me. He said, I'm going to go out here and kick the first homosexual butt I see. Oh, you need to take that to law enforcement. But if that did not happen, and you take that to law enforcement, and it's shown that it did not happen, you better believe. You better believe I'm going to take every legal action I can to get you to make a quote unquote contribution to a hate organization, which would be my podcast. You better believe through all legal means. You better believe I'll do that. I'll contact every attorney in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and their mammy. I would say, man, take this case. Hey, lady, take this case. I'll give you, oh my, you kidding me? But anyway, the point is, You can hate whoever you want. Don't let these idiots in these different organizations intimidate you with that whole anti-hate stuff. Now, I'm going to share this message here real quick to highly successful black athletes, entertainers, etc. Here's what I'm hoping that many of you will start doing. I notice a lot of you will, and this is wonderful and this is great. You know, you give to families and individuals. But I really think that more of you need to start thinking about giving in such a way that it builds black institutions, that it strengthens black institutions. Because it's through the establishment of productive institutions, it's through the establishment of productive, effective institutions by, for, and about black folk that it starts lifting up the whole community, okay? And that's the way you need to start looking at. One thing I think a lot of you need to start looking at, and, you know, I'll call people out by name, you know, with all due respect and love, please, brothers and sisters, please, I'm begging you, give consideration to what I'm saying. You know, if you're like a Lil Wayne or you know, Puff Daddy or Charlemagne the God, or, you know, Shaq, Charles Barkley, you know, whoever you might be, a Kyrie Irving, you know, Michael Jordan, whoever you might be as an individual, please give some consideration to buying shares in publicly traded black companies. You know, doing what we can to support publicly traded black companies. That helps decrease unemployment within the black community. That helps give more talented black folk opportunities. You know, that helps in so many different ways. Again, the focus needs to be on uplifting, building and strengthening black-led, black-focused, black-centered institutions. And I'm going to start giving you some names for you to research and check out, okay? Now, and let me say this too real quick. When you invest in these companies, you're now shareholders, okay? You're now partial owners. See, and that's another thing with black folk. We need to move away from all this stuff of, hey, give me a check. Hey, government, give me a check. Hey, celebrity, give me a check. No, I got a better idea. Why don't we start building stronger, more efficient, profitable, successful black institutions? Okay, why don't we start doing that? Because that, in the long run, that's what's gonna help. That's what's gonna lift us up as a people. Now, we already are making some important steps forward as a people. We've been doing that for decades, way before emancipation. But the way to keep moving forward is to establish black institutions. Okay? All right, so let me share some with you to consider. RLJ Lodging Trust. Okay? Check them out. Do your research. Their ticker symbol is RLJ. Check them out. It's a real estate investment trust. That's a black-owned company. And you can get all sorts of information on them. You go to Ameritrade or stockpile.com. You get all sorts of research papers on them. I've got one dead in front of me. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. Solid. It's from a group called the Street Quant, QUANT Ratings. Okay. I use them all the time when I do research on a company. And it's, you know, just check it out. RLJ Lodging Trust. It's a black-owned real estate investment trust. They do pay a dividend. Check it out. Here's another one you should check out. Urban One Inc. Ticker symbol UONEK. Here's the business description of UNONEK. The name of the company is Urban One, together with its subsidiaries, operates as an urban-oriented multimedia company in the United States. The company operates through 4 segments: radio broadcasting, cable television, reach media, and digital. Okay? Now, when they use the word urban, you know what they're talking about. They're talking about black and Latino folk. Okay? And we know how important still radio is to black folk and black folk and brown folk in urban areas. All right, particularly with this hip hop generation. But they have different ways they reach folk. Check them out. So as opposed to trying to give $250,000 to UDL, the Anti-Defamation League, that then, in a rather extremely insulting manner, rejected that forced contribution from Kyrie Irving and said, no, we don't want to take that money. It's tainted money. Oh, whatever, shut up. Kyrie should have said, well, direct that $250,000 to buying Urban One. Their ticker symbol is, again, UONEK. Okay? Or they take that $250,000 and buy some shares. So then he's in, let's say, like RLJ Lodging Trust. Their ticker symbol is RLJ. All right? Oh, by the way, I'm not a certified financial planner. I'm not telling you that you should buy, you shouldn't buy. I am telling you, do your due diligence before you buy if you decide to buy. And also, these companies I'm naming, they in no way sponsor me, support me, or anything like that. So I'm just giving you my opinion. So, and another group I would suggest you check out is Carver Bank. That's a bank based in Harlem. Can't get any blacker than that, can you? Okay, you got to go to somewhere like Nigeria or Senegal to get blacker than that. Harlem. So they based there in Harlem, black-owned company, publicly traded. And what do? Man, they provide all sorts of financial services to black folk. Most of their clientele is black folk. And one of the services they provide are mortgages for black folk to buy a home or to get into real estate investing. Okay. All right. So, support them. Do some research and see about buying a $250,000 or $300,000 or $500,000 or even 1 million shares. 1 million shares. I'm not saying dollars. I'm saying shares in that company. All right. You become a partial owner in that company. You don't have to start a whole new bank. You're already partial owner of that bank. You're already a shareholder in that bank. Not just a depositor of that bank, but a shareholder, a significant shareholder. Do your research. Again, their ticker symbol CARV. Buy some of that stuff. Check it out. So I just wanted to say that, because, again, I want us as a people to sort of get away from all this. Oh, we got to support these anti-hate groups. Oh, shut up. Every daggone so-called anti-hate group out there has a political agenda attached to it. And that political agenda is not, more often than not, it's not talking about uplifting black folk. It's not doing it. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. But we do need to look at going into the stock market and seeing about buying publicly traded black companies. Okay? And so I'm just going to end it there. I'm going to do more thoughts about black folk, the stock market, supporting, uplifting black businesses in general later on. All right, man, this is Book Talk with Corbin. Check out my website, booktalkwithcorbin.com. Go to YouTube, put in the search engine Book Talk with Corbin, Book Talk with Corbin Sievers, and please subscribe. Hit that like button too.